and you'll want to run that setup file that you download. Choose run. Okay. Next. Accept the license agreement after you've read over it. Click next. You can leave the default location. That's fine. Click next. I'm going to let it create a desktop icon, and we'll click install. Okay, now once this is finished here, it's going to update Malwarebytes and start the program. So we'll let it finish updating. Database was successfully updated. Okay, so now this is a very simple program as well. You can choose to perform a quick scan occasionally once you've done a full scan, but I recommend on your first scan at least, and probably at least once a week afterwards, doing a full scan. And once you've selected full scan, you can click on the scan button, and then you'll want to choose the hard drive on your computer. You may have multiple hard drives. In my case, I only have one hard drive, the C drive. My A drive is my floppy drive, which I don't need to scan, and my D drive is my CD-ROM, so I don't need to scan either of those. Although if you're not sure which ones to choose, choosing all of them will not hurt. So I'm going to go ahead and click Start Scan with my C drive selected. And as you can see here, it started scanning several different objects. This will go through, take quite a while, and typically I wouldn't recommend running your disk defragmenter at the same time that you're running the virus scanner or the spyware scanner, due to the fact that they are both very memory intensive, and it'll take quite a long time if you run them both simultaneously. But in this case, let's take a look at our defragmenter. As you can see, it's already moved quite a few files. You can see where there were some red fragmented files up here. We see blue contiguous files down here and some free space. But we're going to stop this for now while we've got the malware program running. And you can always start back where you left off on your defragmenter if you have to stop it for any reason. It's not something that you have to start over from the beginning each time. So that's good to know. So we'll let this scanner run while we go on to our next item. Next item that we want to do is set our virtual memory settings. First of all, what you want to do is see how much RAM you have on your computer, and that'll determine what your virtual memory settings are going to be. So if you right click on My Computer, which you may have on your desktop, or you can also find it in your Start menu in most cases, and once you've right clicked on that, choose Properties. And as you see here, down towards the bottom, it shows how many gigahertz processor speed I've got, and then how much RAM. In this case, I have 1 gig of RAM. So next we'll go to the Advanced tab and the Settings button underneath Performance. Then again the Advanced tab here, and then the Change button underneath Virtual Memory. Okay, now the rule of thumb that you want to follow is for every total amount of RAM that you have, in this case 1 gig, you want to have about 1.5 times the amount of virtual memory. In this case, I've got it set to 1.5 gigs, which is 1.5 times how much RAM that I have. But the maximum size here is set incorrectly. It's set to 3 gigs. Now, what you want to make sure, it's best to make both the initial and maximum size the same. So I'm going to change this to 1536. That way, both the initial and maximum size are the same. The reason why you want to do this is when you have a larger amount set for the maximum size, it saves on disk space, so that that memory is not taken up unless it's needed, but it also decreases the performance of your computer because it has to reallot that space so that it can be used for virtual memory when it is needed. So it's best really just to keep the amount that you need allotted at all times. So let's say you have a 2 gig computer. 1.5 times 2 gigs would be 3 gigs. So the way you figure how many megs you would want to put in here, you can start your calculator program, and remember there's 1024 megs inside of a gig. So if you need 3 gigs of virtual memory, you take 1024 and multiply that by 3, and that comes out to 3072. So if I had 2 gigs here, I would put in 3072 in both places. And then once you're finished, I'm going to set this back though, and I'm going to figure exactly how much I need. I need 1.5 gigs, so I'm going to multiply 1.5 times 1024 and 1536. Yep, I had it right before. 1536. Then you'll want to click the Set button. This is going to set the virtual memory. You'll see it change up here if you made any changes. And then go ahead and click OK. It's going to tell you need to restart your computer before that takes effect. That's fine. Then click OK. OK one more time. And then it's going to ask you if you want to restart your computer. When you do this, you'll want to choose yes to go ahead and restart so that those settings will take effect. But for now, I'm going to click no. Now back to your Malwarebytes application. As you can see, there are many different tabs up here that you can set settings, but really, if you're not wanting to dig too deep into it, this basic scan feature is really all you need to know about. In this case, I'm going to abort the scan. You'll normally want to let it finish all the way, but I'm going to abort this for now and click yes. Okay. And normally what you'll see if you have anything that comes up that was found malicious, it'll show with the check mark next to it which items were found that were possibly malicious, and if you note that they are nothing that you are familiar with, nothing that you need on your computer, then you want to make sure they're selected and choose to remove them and delete those bad files. Once all the malware is gone from your computer, and once you have your startup options set correctly, your hard drive is defragmented, and your virtual memory is set correctly, your computer will run at quite a bit better speed without actually having to put any money into it at that point. So that'll be the end of this video. Thank you for visiting electricalfusion.com, and you have a great day.